I want to show you a little bit about my laser bar setup for my stabilizer. It's a super simple tool to really allow you to figure out exactly what your wall thickness is. Hi, I'm Trent Bosch from Trent Bosch Tools, and I'm going to talk about my laser bar setup today. So the laser bars are a pretty simple setup. Comes with a laser and the bars that attach right into your stabilizer. So it also comes with this little cup mount that mounts on the stabilizer itself. And then you can just take and drop the bars in there, tighten that set screw down, and you basically have them all ready to go and do what they need to do. There is a little bit more setup though you need to do with whatever tool you have on your stabilizer too. But a couple of features that I really want to talk about is the easy adjustability and some of the things that come with the stabilizer. So your the laser bars. So your laser bars are going to come with the laser bars and the laser, obviously, but then there's a whole bunch of accessories that sort of come with it. A little card that I call basically a setup guide for that, and some extra batteries for your laser. That little cup mount that I was talking about that goes right on to your stabilizer, and then several Allen wrenches that will allow you to adjust and tighten things down. The first thing you do is I go ahead and grab that little card that I was just talking about, and then I take that card and I slip it under my tool. And I center that cutter about in the center of that little card. And so what this is going to do, it's going to allow me to see exactly where my laser is pointing. So let's go ahead and turn the laser on. And it's just been set up arbitrarily right now. So it's not the right spot, obviously. So let's go ahead and I'm going to loosen the set screw on the mount, the cup mount that goes to the stabilizer. And I'm just going to tilt this over just a little bit more, tighten that down. And then I'm going to loosen the set screw that moves this horizontal bar back and forth. And I'm going to move it just a little bit as well. And then I'm going to tighten both those down. I'm not really trying to get in an exact location right now. I'm just trying to get it close to where I want it to be for this particular operation. So I was just using the 5/32 Allen wrench for those adjustments. The next wrench I'm going to grab is just a little Allen wrench that goes and it can adjust some fine adjustment screws on your laser. Let me grab another laser and kind of just show you those fine adjustment screws. So on the head of this laser here, there is a screw right here that will adjust, and then there's a screw right here that will adjust. So you have two axes you can move this little laser point back and forth with. And this is where this laser setup really works great. You can see as I tighten that down, it kind of moves that little inner area just a fine amount every time you turn it. So really, really works great for just kind of tuning in to exactly where you want your laser to be. And so the key to working with the laser is setting it up so that that laser is the distance away from your cutter that you want your wall thickness to be. So I'm going to go up here to the laser itself. I'm going to put my little wrench in, and then I'm going to manipulate those two axes that I have on here until I kind of get into the range that I'm interested in being in as far as my laser setup for the hollow form I'm working on. Which basically I'm looking for about 1/4 of an inch wall thickness on this form, and I'm going to be working on the top section when I start out. So the laser is set up right about in this area, kind of across that wall for the top section. When I work more in the middle section, I'll draw some dots on here for you so you can kind of see. So the first one, obviously, we got set up there. The next one, I'm going to move it over just a little bit, set it up somewhere in there, and then towards the bottom, I'm going to set it up to be more in that area there. And really what we want to do is wherever we happen to be working in this hollow form, we want to have our our laser kind of perpendicular or square across the wall that we are using it on. That way it's going to give us an accurate reading. So let's get rid of this little card. And when you go inside your hollow form with that laser, you're going to have the laser showing, and then as you get thinner and thinner, that laser is going to elongate and probably just about drop off the edge of that form when you get to the point where it's about the thickness that you have it set up for. And you can kind of work your way all along and try and get that so that that is just barely falling off like that. And then you can adjust it to the next section. This form is already hollowed, but it's great for me to just illustrate what we're working with. And so, like I said, I would adjust it to the next section, which would be kind of the center section of this form. Grab that little Allen wrench again, and we can manipulate where our cutter's going. Let's bring it right about there. And then that would be the area, let's get rid of that, where I would go in here and I could work in this center area. Thin out this center area. It looks like it's already pretty thin. It's just barely coming on and off on there. And then the last area that I would set this up at would be all the way, let's move it over there. And then let's move it up here and back just a little bit. With that setting, I would be working on the back half or the back third. So I've got those three settings. So I do about the front third, about the middle third, and about the back third. You can break it up further if you'd like, but this seems to work out really good for the majority of forms I do. And we can just use that to gauge our wall thickness. And this form is just a little bit thinner than that setup. So you can see how if you're not close to being very thin, it's going to be a nice round dot. But as you get closer and closer to that wall thickness, it's going to elongate and then kind of fall right off the wall like you see there. I don't use the laser unless or until I'm getting really pretty close to that final wall thickness. That saves a lot on the batteries as far as using those up. The batteries tend to last. It comes with actually with 6 little button cell batteries, but it only takes 3 each time. And we usually get about 3 hours of use out of that set of batteries. You can buy those batteries relatively inexpensively on various websites. Other things about the laser setup is that while you're hollowing with it, you want to pay attention what's going on. You don't want to just look at that little red dot. You know, we have some cats and they'll chase that little red dot all over the place. So we're not just focusing on that red dot. I'm listening to the sound that the wall thickness, that the cutting action's making. The thinner your wall is getting, the more high pitched that sound is going to be. When I stop and I blow my form out, I'm going to reach in there with my finger. I'm also going to grab a little flexible flashlight and I'm going to peek in there and kind of see what's going on. So the laser is just a helpful guide that's part of a whole bunch of other things that you do when you're trying to judge your wall thickness on your hollow forms. I hope this gives you a little overview of how I use my laser setup and how it can help you judge your wall thickness and just give you another tool to try and get the perfect wall thickness in your hollow forms. Thanks for watching, and please feel free to subscribe and like the video if you would like, and hopefully we'll see you sometime soon. Take care. Happy turning.